Hello, everyone. This is Zami Eccles-Erwin from filmfestivalcircuit.com. And today it is my distinct pleasure to be talking to filmmaker Danny Farber. Danny is a Film Festival Circuit alum with his film Huge from 2021. And now Danny's working on a new project, Thoughts and Prayers, that we're going to be talking about today. Danny, thank you so much for meeting with me.
Zami, thank you so much for having me. This is such a treat.
So I kind of want to know a little bit about your new project. Before we get into that, can you talk about your filmmaking background a little bit?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, a film that I directed and starred in called Huge kind of made its way through the festival circuits back in 2021. Before that, I kind of came up in Chicago doing like local theater and stuff. And then I went to film school after my parents were like, you can't go to college to get an acting degree. And I was like, I'll go to college to get a film degree. And they were like, that's a business. There's people that do that. Granted, I don't have any connection to the industry, so we didn't. It was like a very like blind attempt at like trying to find a career. And then it was 6 years of just like plugging away in Chicago at like student films and
Totally.
ADing and then commercials and then producing and then finally kind of got to the space where I was producing pretty regularly and took a hard pivot into looking at kind of where I was at in the AD producing kind of track, and I was like, I rather direct and act, and in doing so, I kind of just made this kind of decision with myself where I was like, I'm gonna turn down some opportunities here that keep coming up. That's putting me in this like producer track, and
Totally.
really only focus on things where I could star in or direct. And it was slow for a couple of years, and thankfully, that was 2018. Now 5 years later, it's this month I'm quadruple booked, and it's a great feeling and a scary feeling all at once.
That's incredible. Well, you followed your passion, you took risks, and now here you are. You've made a number of great shorts, and so
Thanks.
tell us about Thoughts and Prayers. This is your new project that you're working on right now.
Yeah, totally. So, thoughts and prayers is something that I had in my notes app since 2014.
Oh, okay.
It's been a really long time for me to even like consider putting it out into the world. It felt like an idea that I wasn't ready to tell. And briefly, like the story on it, it's a breakup story that takes place in the middle of a school shooting. It's heavy. It's like
Wow.
it's a heavy concept, and I only saw it in my head as a comedy, and it's a bold swing. And I was like, how do you go about something that's so sensitive that is just it's traumatic that
Hmm.
affects every if it hasn't affected you personally, I guarantee somebody that has been affected by it in some way tangentially. So
Totally.
it's such an American problem these days where so I sat on this thing for a really long time, and then after Huge did its thing in the festival circuit, I had a couple financiers reach out, be like, "What's next?" And I was like, "Shit!" And so I looked through my notes app, and I was like looking for ideas for shorts and for other projects. And the only thing that like really, I mean, I have other ideas as well, but the thing that like was most exciting to me was thoughts and prayers. And so I wrote the script, and we did table reads, and this is 2021, and we were like almost fully funded off out of the gate, and it was going really well until I kind of, without setting any names to it, the financiers on it kind of just ghosted me, and
Mm,
that was a really hard experience where I mean, I think I wrote and rewrote this script 8 9 times, had production meetings,
man.
build out my treatment, my pitch deck, started crewing up for it, started casting it, was ready to go, and then just total nothing. And I was like, well, I can't do this if I don't have
Man.
the money to do it. And also, like, is this even worth saying? Is this a project that's just kind of anybody's going to be interested in?
Right.
Is there a way to do this with sincerity while also holding responsible the topic? And so I scared myself and I put it down for about a year.
Mm,
After already not touching it for like 7 8 years,
right.
and then in 2022 things were really picking up for directing and for acting for myself. I was getting a lot of I was booking. It just was, it felt really good. And as things really slowed down, as it usually does around the holiday hiatus from like Thanksgiving to like
All right.
Q2, basically. It was a really slow Q1. I was, just like kicking around, like, I need to make my next thing. What's the next thing? I felt so hurt from the previous experience with Thoughts and Prayers, where I was like,
Right.
not even that. And I started developing something else. And then it was the lawmakers in Tennessee. It was Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, and their respect, I guess, their courage that I saw, and I was like, gosh, if like these are people that are putting their jobs on the line, that are peacefully marching, that are using their
Mm-hmm.
voice to still have this conversation,
Right.
still talk about this thing. And I turned to my producer, her and I've been working together a lot the past like 2 years, and I was like, I have this thing. I'm getting a weird bout of courage. I need you to tell me to make this thing happen. She's like, let me read it. And I pass it along to her, and she goes, you have to make this.
Wow.
You have to do this. Like, you will be surprised by the amount of support I think you're going to get from this project. And so I stripped back the last iteration of the script that I did with the old production company, because it was like really crazy and hyper stylized, and it was like
Mm.
going to be like 60 grand to make, which like isn't impossible, but like for a short, who wants to spend that?
Right.
And so I was like, okay, bare bones, I can make this thing. I want to make this thing tomorrow. How much do I need to make it? And I was like, I could probably do this. Like, let me rewrite the script, and it's two people, and it's in one location basically, and it's all about the story. And then I started threading the elements of the rest of the story from other versions and bringing that
Mm.
back into the thing. And I landed on, I could make this for 5 grand. I think to probably do this properly, it's like, I think we lined it. It's like 15.5, maybe 16,000 to make
Okay.
over the course of a day. Maybe I can get a day and a half out of that, and everybody kind of does like prep, just kind of as a passion project, kind of like me.
Right.
But then to really do it properly is to do 2 days, and to be about 30 grand to do it for 2 days. So currently we are fundraising. I'm only asking for $5,000 on my fundraising campaign, because on my last project, we did the same approach, where my creative partner on that project, her and I both went in and put in a little money ourselves, and then we brought it out to the community,
Mm.
and we underballed, kind of lowballed our ask in terms of like what we need to make this thing happen,
Okay. Yeah.
knowing that when you hit 100%, the crowdfunding platform will actually boost your campaign, and the algorithm is like, oh, well, this is a super successful campaign.
Oh,
It's
great.
over 100%. And we got on the homepage of Indiegogo for like 3 days, and got all these random people from all over the internet that really wanted to support huge. So for this one, same approach without the creative partner, where I'm looking to get 5 grand and hoping that that actually turns into closer to $7,500, maybe $10,000. And then from there, find individual angel investors to get me to that 15, and put
Okay. Yeah.
in any of the money that I need to put in myself to kind of get us there as well.
That's very exciting. And I mean, it seems like
Yeah.
you've been working on this idea, kicking around. This current version seems like maybe it's kind of the most full. Do you feel like it's been that fruit of the meditation has paid off?
That's a great way of putting it. Fruit of the meditation. Yeah, I think so. I think I've really, really sat with this story and taken out all the frivolous parts,
Okay. Yeah.
rewritten it, wrote all. There was a draft. There's a version where the breakup is how the story ends,
Mm.
and then like it cuts to black. So I have all of this, like, this background of like who these people are, what these characters stand for, kind of where they're coming from, and that really helps me, because now I'm at a place where we open, and we don't even see the words spoken, as
Mm.
much as it's like the moment after, and then they're stuck
Oh,
together, and it's like, what do we do
right.
now in this situation? So
I love
I
that.
definitely think, having thought about it a lot, I hope it's good. I hope it turns into a good film, but it's something that I'm proud and excited to work on.
Well, it sounds incredible. I mean, and it is it's a unique topic. It's sensitive, but extremely important to have narratives around this. Like you said, it's something that is just a reality of American life now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm interested. Is there anything you can talk to? Well, so it sounds like as far as pre-production, are you pretty much getting ready to roll once you get your funding? Where are you at in that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very fortunate to be a full-time freelancer in this
Okay.
space. So I'm able to I've made a lot of connections over the last. I've been at this since almost a decade now in Chicago and now out in Los Angeles, and I'm ready as soon as the money comes in. I have a team of filmmakers that love me and the story and want to make this thing happen as bad as I do. Where all we have to do is like, great, we got the green light and
Totally.
we're good to go. I've already like started scouting locations in regards of like not really mentioning that I'm there. It's just like a public space, and I'm gonna go
Right.
check it out and take a couple photos. But I don't even want to get into the process of like locking in a location or locking in a shot
Right.
list until the funds come through.
Totally.
So that way I can be malleable. Because again, I can make this story for $5,000.
Right.
I think it's going to be better if we get 15 to make this thing properly and get some practical effects in there and really sell the
Totally.
just the whole picture. But I don't want to get ahead of I've gotten ahead of myself a couple times on this project specifically, where
Right.
I'm just kind of hedging my bets and seeing kind of where the chips lie.
Excellent. Well, it seems like you're really coming to this project with a lot of experience and a well-tempered mind for how this thing needs to be done. How is the crowdfunding going?
So far, so good. We have
Excellent.
12 days left as of right now. We are just shy of $4,000.
Okay.
We're like
Fantastic.
38 something, which feels good. We only had 30 days to do it. And that was an intentional deadline that I kind of set on the campaign, but you can't change it once it's been
Oh, right.
established.
Okay.
So in doing so, if it's an open-ended deadline, I've known just in past experience and helping out other friends and stuff, it's the urgency isn't there to
Right.
get
Right.
your community involved and your circle involved. And now I've had people all the way back from my middle school teachers who are like, hey, I saw this thing on
Wow.
Facebook, or a friend sent this to me and I can't believe how relevant this story is, and that you're going to tackle this, and anything we can do to support. And it's donations. I've gotten a donation as low as $3 all the way up to like I had a stranger on the internet give us $500
Wow.
on this project. And it's really everything, genuinely every donation like helps, everything matters, everything counts. And it's just about utilizing any kind of skill set that I've developed over the last decade to, I don't know, make a statement, tell a story that
Yeah.
I think is worth hearing. Because honestly, the way that things are looking right now, 2023 in America, anybody can be affected by this epidemic. So
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do here.
Well, it's a great project. It's a beautiful idea. It's you are tackling something that we can't ignore anymore. We can't
Yeah,
just scoop it under the rug. This needs to be a part of media because this is a part of real life. And so, really, thank you for choosing this as your subject and putting so much work into this.
of
Um,
course. Yeah,
and I'm very
absolutely.
excited to see this made. I know you're gonna get it done. I think you're gonna hit your goal. And where can we go to find? I'll post a link, but if you just want to
Please.
localize it, where
Yeah.
do we go to fund?
It's on. So there's a link on Indiegogo right now,
Okay.
and it's called Thoughts and Prayers. My name
Okay.
is Danny Farber, so I'm sure you can type in those keywords, and that might pop it up. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is really something that I know it's a bold thing to strategize about, and I want to just make clear that any points of levity that come from this script are more matter of fact than
Mm,
funny. It's
right.
more of, are we serious? This is really like the world that we're? Are you
Right.
okay? Sure. That's kind of the tone of like, if any of that makes sense in terms of like
Totally.
where the humor kind of comes in, because it's not a funny subject by
Right.
any means. I'm not at all trying to say that this is something to be taken lightly, because it's just kind of looking at the fact that most of our lawmakers and the government seems to be taking this lightly.
Yeah.
So let's see what that looks like in a film of, okay, let's take this lightly. How is this? How is it? Okay, I see that the shooting's happening. I'm more invested in this
Right.
because my world is breaking, my world is being destroyed. Well, yeah, the world is getting destroyed. Who cares? Like, that's where the angle is taken.
Totally. I mean, I feel like that feels like a very kind of a pointed way to look at that whole conversation right now.
Yeah,
It is a
most
matter of
definitely.
fact thing because it's just so saturated. These things are happening so much.
Yeah,
Um, But yeah, I mean, this seems like a fantastic project. I'm very eager to see this. Huge was great, so I know it's in good
Oh, thanks,
hands.
man.
And yeah, is there anything else you would like to add about thoughts and prayers?
There's a bunch going into it, just in terms of statements to be made and talking points on kind of both sides of the issue that
Right.
we address head on.
Okay.
That everybody that's read it has been like just grateful that somebody's kind of talking about it and somebody's mentioning it. And yeah, I guess the main topic obviously is it's all about gun reform,
Right.
but it kind of approaches it from a couple different solutions,
Okay.
and just kind of pokes holes in everything that's a half-hearted attempt at like solving this issue. So if you want to see that story, please donate, because we have 12 days left. So the day's halfway done. So by tomorrow, we got 11 days left to make it happen. So please,
Well,
please.
Danny, this sounds like a great project. I can't wait to see it. I know you're going to get it made. It's going to be great. Everyone, checking it out. Please help if you can. This is an important film, and you won't regret funding something of this quality and this magnitude of capacity to talk about issues. And Danny's a very talented filmmaker. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
talking with me. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and hopefully there will be some updates that I can make publicly about casting and some names that we're getting attached to this project. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see
Okay,
ya.
have a good one.